As an Afghan, in the past 10 years, I've been traveling to different countries as part of my job, and that was a requirement of my job. And I was talking with Canadians, with citizens of other countries. The first thing that comes to people's mind about Afghanistan is terror, fighting, war, conflict, poverty, underdevelopment. But as an Afghan who was born and raised there, I understand the development. This is one of the historical gardens rehabilitated by the Aga Khan Trust for Culture, Bagh-e-Babur. The first time in the history of Afghanistan we have railway, which is connected from Afghanistan to Turkmenistan, so one of the major provinces. One of the, like in the communities, they are talking about developing issues in their communities. So this is a view of Kabul city, because most of people think about Afghanistan as a desert area, very dry, nothing about greenery and development. So some more photos of Afghanistan. So a group of Afghan youth playing music and the kind of demonstration of the tradition in there. And then finally, the National Development Strategy, which is kind of an umbrella document for development in the country. So this is the view I have about Afghanistan. So it's mixed of both development and advancement in all different sectors. And some of them are historically unique, like the highway development that we have at this time in Afghanistan, we never had like in the history of the country. Or the advancement in health and education, advancement in rural development and other sectors. I would like to just give you some snapshot of the Afghanistan, so some demographics and introduction. So the official name of the country is the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, 30 million population. 74% of population live in rural areas. So this is where there's a lot of need for development. And in terms of size, it's very much kind of smaller, a little bit smaller than Texas state of US, just to give you a comparison. It's mostly landlocked. We don't have any connection to the ocean or sea. And then towards the north and central provinces, it's mountainous, and then the south, it's more desert. Dry climate, and it is a mix of hot summers and warm and cold winters. So, and then 34 administrative divisions or provinces. And some of the key development indicators. The gross national income per capita is $410 per year per individual. So it means it's almost $1.5 or $1.4 per person per day. So you can imagine and this is a national average. There are people who don't have cash income at all in some areas. Poverty rate is 36%, so it means 36% of population live under the poverty line. And this is Afghanistan poverty line, not compared to other countries. So if you compare that with Canada or some other countries, it's maybe 80% of population. Life expectancy rate is 48. So this was, and just yesterday I received the updated figures, and it's 60 for female and 58 for male. So it has improved a lot. So this was from 2009, and now 2013 I received from UN documents. So school enrollment is 46%, and so you can see the difference between boys and girls. Female literacy rate is 29%. So that gives you a kind of understanding of where we are. And the maternal mortality rate, MMR maternal mortality rate, is 327. It means from 100,000 live births, so 327 of them die during pregnancy or some other reasons. And then child mortality rate, 96 per 1,000 live births. Now, I'd like to just talk about this maternal mortality. There was a study by the Save the Children in 165 countries, and Afghanistan stands the 164 in the bottom of the list. So it means there's only one country worse than us, and that's, I guess, Somalia. Aga Khan Foundation is one of the agencies of the Aga Khan Development Network, which is a group of development organizations. It includes some private institutions, some development agencies, which are dedicated to improving the quality of life of people. So the foundation in Afghanistan We work in 7 provinces there. The country has 34 provinces, so we work in 7 provinces in 53 districts. And we work with more than 1,600, it's now more than that, 1,600 communities. We serve almost 3 million population out of 30 million. So it means 10% of the country's population benefit from our programs. These are the sectors, or as we call them, or different areas of development that we work in Afghanistan. We have rural development, and then, well, actually, this is kind of the structural things that we have in the organization. So we have rural development, and then the participatory governance. So the participatory governance and civil society sectors that we work with, and the natural resources management, the market development and financial access, infrastructure development, health, education. And there's an interesting model of cross-border cooperation between Afghanistan and Tajikistan that we have, and that's a kind of a modified package of the all other sectors that's implemented in the border area between Afghanistan and Tajikistan. We follow a multi-sectoral approach to develop some certain areas. So in AKDN, it's called MIAT, Multi-Input Area Development. It's an interesting model. So some other organizations call it differently, the multi-sectoral integrated approach, and different terminologies are used for that. But the essence of that is that we enter a community or a district or a valley or a village, and then we put resources of different sectors. These different sectors work with community to plan together and develop that area and work until so they stand on their own feet. So that's how it works. So it's a very simple, well, it seems a simple approach, but when it comes to implementation of that, it's challenging. But the good thing in Afghanistan was that it was tested and piloted in Pakistan and other contexts where AKDN has implemented this, and then introduced to Afghanistan after the kind of new government started in Afghanistan. And systemic and long-term. So I encourage you that when I go through my next slides and talk about different sectors, so you think about it and challenge it against this slide, again, this systemic approach. See how systemic approach is illustrated on those slides. So systemic for us is any particular sector. We think, for example, say health. So who are actors in this sector? And what are the factors that influence the sector? That's the question we ask ourselves. And then we address the factors and work with the actors to bring together. For example, in the health sector, we work with community, we work with the civil society organizations, we work with the government, we work with the research institution, and then within the network, within the Aga Khan Development Network, we work with academic institution, which is Aga Khan University, Aga Khan Health Services, and then my organization, Aga Khan Foundation, which is expert in community health. So that's a systemic view to things. And then you will see that in next slides. I will explain it in each sector. And then on long-term presence. So there are many other organizations who come and go, and then they're like contractors, receive money from donor, implement the project or a program, and then leave once the project is finished. For AKDN, we have a long-term vision for each community based on this approach, multi-sectoral. And we continue there until we make sure that that community is developed in that particular area. So it's a long-term vision, and we don't see short-term that, okay, so this is a 5-year project, implement, finish, and then go. No. We continue. We see 20 years from now, so where this community should stand after 20 years. So this is the first phase of development, and then we go to next phase, and then we go to next phase, and this is the long-term vision that we have for this community or this province. Now, this applies to all sectors. And indigenous institutions and working with them and working with the existing human resources. And we see that as assets existing in the community. So I don't claim that we are an asset-based approach organization. So we mix the asset-based approach and the need-based approach, because these are two kind of, well, there are different theories of development. So these are some of the famous ones that people apply. Some people go need-based, so what you don't have, they ask the communities. Some others go and ask them what you have and what we can do for you. So here we apply a mixture of need-based approach and asset-based approach, and always community-led. Because if you work with community without community, so that it means that's the first step towards failure. So that's the philosophy we follow, that with community, in community, with community, for community. So that's what we follow, the philosophy. And then at the same time, we respect and we work with government and follow the national policies and national priorities. Because we believe that if we work only with community, we create parallel systems, and those are not sustainable. And those are actually destructive to the government systems. So we work with government, and that's also part of the systemic approach that I explained earlier. So what can teachers do about global citizenship education? And what can they offer to students, and how they can encourage them to be politically critical and personally transformative? This article talks that only being critical is not enough. So you need to be critical, but at the same time, as teachers, we need to support the students to become transformative of themselves first, and then think about broader community, broader country level, and then global level, as the active global citizen. And then think about issues, feel it, and then start doing something about it. So you think about it, feel it, and then do something about it.